Levi walked for days, his body weak from hunger and exhaustion. The sun beat down on him during the day, and the cold night air sent shivers through his frail frame. His once proud stride was now slow and unsteady, and every step felt heavier than the last. But he pressed forward, driven by a deep longing for home, for the warmth of his father's embrace, and for the peace he had so recklessly abandoned. As he neared the lands of his childhood, memories flooded his mind. He remembered the mornings spent with his father in the fields, the laughter he had shared with Ethan, and the simple joys of home-cooked meals and warm shelter. Shame clawed at his heart, for he had turned his back on all of it, in pursuit of fleeting pleasures. Doubts crept into his mind as he approached the familiar outskirts of the village. Would his father even recognize him? Would he welcome him back, or would he turn him away? He had squandered everything, betrayed the trust and love given to him, and returned with nothing but regret. "I do not deserve to be his son," Levi murmured, "but perhaps, if I beg, he will allow me to be one of his servants." His father's servants lived far better than the life he had been leading. Even the lowest among them had food to eat and a place to sleep. Levi resolved to humble himself, to cast aside any remnants of pride, and to seek only mercy rather than restoration. Little did he know, Jacob had never stopped watching for his return. Every evening he would stand at the edge of his fields, scanning the horizon, hoping to see the silhouette of his lost son. And on that fateful afternoon, as the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and crimson, he saw a lone figure in the distance, walking hesitantly towards the village. Jacob's heart leapt. He recognized the gait, the posture, and the longing in those weary eyes. Without hesitation, he ran forward, his robes billowing in the wind, his heart pounding with overwhelming emotion. Levi, upon seeing his father rushing toward him, fell to his knees, tears streaming down his dirt-streaked face. He could hardly believe what he was witnessing. This was not the reaction he had expected. He had envisioned anger, rejection, or at best indifference. But instead, his father was running to him with open arms. "Father," Levi choked out, his voice trembling with emotion. "I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Please take me as one of your servants." But Jacob did not let him finish. He pulled his son into a tight embrace, holding him as though he would never let go. "My son," he exclaimed, his voice thick with tears. "You were lost, but now you are found. You were dead, but now you live." Jacob called his servants to bring the finest robe, a ring for Levi's finger, and sandals for his feet. He commanded that the fatted calf be prepared for a grand feast. The household rejoiced, for the prodigal son had returned. Levi could scarcely believe it. He had come expecting rejection, but instead he found grace. He had prepared a plea for mercy, but was met with unconditional love. The weight of his shame lifted, replaced by the warmth of his father's embrace and the knowledge that he was truly home. And so, the road to redemption led Levi not to servitude, but to restoration. His father had never stopped loving him, never ceased longing for his return. It was a love greater than his failures, a love that welcomed him back not as a servant, but as a son. The household was abuzz with excitement as preparations for the feast commenced. The finest linens were brought out, the grand hall was adorned with fresh flowers, and the scent of roasting meat filled the air. Servants hurried about, setting tables with golden goblets and the most exquisite dishes, for tonight was a night of unparalleled joy. Levi, still in disbelief, stood by his father's side, watching in awe as the celebration took form. He had expected rejection, a cold reception, or at best a place among the servants. But instead he was honored as a beloved son. A fresh robe now adorned his weary body, the ring on his finger symbolizing his restored place in the family, and the sandals on his feet signified his dignity and belonging. As guests began to arrive, laughter and music filled the air. Old friends and family members, many of whom had heard of Levi's departure and assumed he would never return, now gathered to celebrate. Some were joyful, while others murmured in hushed tones, questioning whether he truly deserved such a grand welcome.